Okay, this is for real gonna be the last video in which my hair is straight. I cannot with the straight hair anymore. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and this is Michaela's Crafts. And today I have my second knitting podcast episode, which I'm so excited to film for you guys. I'm so sorry that you didn't get a video last week. I was in Utah last week and right before I left, I was really trying to film a video, but I kept stopping it. I kept feeling like it just wasn't right. The video before that was a chatty vlog, so I felt like doing another crochet and chat with me was just really redundant. So I came back, I filmed a yarn haul, didn't really love how that turned out either, so I thought like I just need to wait and I'll just put out this knitting podcast episode. It's a little bit chaotic whenever you're trying to get your YouTube channel like kind of up and moving, and I finally feel like I'm starting to get comfortable, but then vacation happened and we're just trying to get back on track. I do have another vacation coming up at the end of October, but I promise to have a better handle on my uploading schedule. But I'm really excited for this podcast episode because the first thing we're going to talk about are finished objects. So the first finished object I don't have with me, but I will post a picture here. I did finally give this shawl to my grandma. I finished the shawl in like 6 days. I wish it was a little bit bigger, and I don't know if I needed to maybe just like I think I could have repeated the pattern one more time and it would have been probably perfect, but I didn't have enough yarn for that. I knew when I started this project that I was gonna have just enough yarn to finish it, so that's kind of on me, but it still turned out super cute. I gave it to my grandma last week and it was super easy to knit up. Pattern was super simple to follow and I would totally knit it again. And I have some yarn that I did purchase, which you guys will see in my next video, which is going to be a yarn haul video, that I could knit up a shawl in. So maybe, we'll see. So it was the Yamarino Shawlette by Shannon Dunbabin, and I knitted up in an Arasania yarn confetti in the colorway 102, and I can't remember which needles I used, but it was whatever the recommended needles are in the pattern. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that project. If I can snag a picture of my grandma in it, I'll insert it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen in time. So the next finished object is actually my granny's granny square blanket. Yes, I finally finished this project, and it didn't exactly turn out the way that I wanted it to, because originally in my mind, in my original granny square blanket for my grandma, there are like mini ones. So if you can see here, like these granny squares have 3 rows. So you have like the blue, the cream, and then the dark brown. And on my granny's granny square blanket, I did a whole bunch of like 2 rows with the main color being the second row on every granny square. And originally I was gonna do that on this and make this much bigger, but it is my whip for a whip contest that is due on Thursday, which in my vlog time is tomorrow. And I came home from Utah planning to do all of that. I started going to town on making all of those, and then I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, if I have to sew on all of these granny squares in the next 4 days, I'm gonna lose my mind, because this project already took so long. And it's kind of cheating, but not really cheating, because for the whip contest, like you just need to finish your object. And I really looked at this and I was like, if I have to work on this any longer than I have to, I'm not gonna like finish this project, and it's just gonna sit forever and I will just hate it. So I just decided to continue loving this project and to just finish it up. And honestly, like I'm gonna have some videos inserted, I'm sure I'm showing them to you already, of what the blanket looks like. And honestly, I think it's great. I wanted to add a scalloped edge, but my boyfriend was like, honestly, it kind of is like you have 2 different styles of the same granny square blanket. Because these here with like the 3 rounds, I don't think I did that on my grandma's granny square blanket. I don't even exactly remember. But I am planning to release a video guide of how I go about making granny square objects or projects. So I also made a granny square sweater. I don't have, it was before my YouTube days, but I'll insert a picture. It's like my main picture on everything that is crochet related for me. And I also just saw a picture on Pinterest and it was my inspiration, and then I just made it. I actually don't have it anymore. I think I donated it. I didn't love wearing it. I made it in acrylic yarn. I think that if I were to redo this project, I would do it in a more natural fiber, and I would, yeah, it was just too heavy. It was like a worsted weight acrylic, and it just felt heavy on my body. So, and that's kind of how it looked in the inspiration picture. I'll try to have them both kind of like side by side, and it turned out really good, but it just wasn't something I was gonna wear. So these two projects took up most of my time this month, not to mention one whole week I was traveling, and like you would think that I have a lot of time like during travel to work on my stuff, but we went to Utah, so we were hiking a ton, and we were also like sightseeing and driving a ton, and I get really car sick, so I can't really knit in the car unless I'm just like knitting in the round and I don't have to look. But I didn't really do that until our drive back to the airport, which we flew in and out of Vegas because Spirit Airlines. And then I was able to make a lot of progress on the first whip that I'm gonna tell you about, which is the sweater that I am knitting for my boyfriend. So I am just doing a little free-handed pattern because every pattern that I showed him, he didn't really like. So he was just like, just freehand it. And I'm like, you know, I've never even finished a sweater before and you want me to freehand your sweater, but okay. So I am doing a top-down raglan, which I started a raglan before and I almost finished it, and then I gave up around the sleeves and didn't really like it anymore. I think I just didn't like the ribbing, so I probably could have just frogged the ribbing and then continued on and finished the project, but I didn't. But for this one, I actually even learned how to do German short rows, so it will sit a little bit higher in the back like a normal sweater should. So I taught myself how to do German short rows. I had to teach myself how to cast on the correct number of stitches. And honestly, it's turning out so stinking cute. I will give you guys more information about the yarn in my next video in my yarn haul. So just subscribe so that you can see that video next week. And honestly, this is knitting up super fast. Like I casted this on in Utah probably 3 times because I kept getting like the number of stitches wrong. The first time it was way too wide and I was already like doing increases. So I frogged it and then I cast it on again, and then I realized like I can probably cast this on again with even less stitches. And at one point during one of my increases, I had a hole, so that's why I frogged it again. But yeah, so now we're finally on track, and it doesn't really look like it, but I think that we're about ready to split for body and sleeves, which I'm probably gonna have my boyfriend try this on maybe today when he gets home from work, so I can see if we're ready to split. And honestly, I haven't worked on this since I got back from Utah a few days ago, and that's mostly because I've been super distracted by this whip that I started, I think Sunday, so today's Wednesday. I think that's the trash truck, but that's none of my business. But anyways, so I cast this on Sunday, and honestly, I tried to cast it on Saturday. I was super excited. In case I didn't say it already, it's the Chantal V-neck by Marika Knit. And I was so excited for this pattern that in my last video, my chatty vlog, I was really contemplating taking this yarn with me because the second that the pattern dropped, I wanted it on my needles. But she kept saying on Instagram that it was gonna release at the end of September, and I was coming back on the 29th, I think, so, or I think 27th. And I was like, okay, well, it could be the 28th, 29th, 30th, like it'll maybe not release till I get back. I kid you not, the day I get to Utah, I see her posting saying pattern releasing tomorrow. I was so upset. I was like, oh. So, but it was fine because I got a lot of work done on my boyfriend's sweater. But I did come home and immediately gauge swatch. So this was my gauge swatch, and the pattern itself like is super easy. It's just like a knit one slit with the yarn in the back. So it's like a really easy pattern. But then I was having so much trouble with the increases. Like I didn't know when I should start with a knit row or a slip row, and should I alternate them? Should I start with, because it wasn't like super clear in the pattern. Now the pattern is set for intermediate level. I am absolutely a beginner, so I don't know why I thought I could just hop right in this pattern, but I'm motivated, so that's why. But I finally got the hang of it, I think. Kind of looking at it now, it kind of seems like it branched off a little bit, but maybe that's just where I like switched to the other increases. I don't know. But I am knitting it up in a super dark color, which is also not helpful for like a beginner trying to knit a pattern that's a little bit out of their league. I am knitting this in Knitting for Olive Merino and Knitting for Olive Mohair, and I'll probably talk about it more in my yarn haul video, but you guys already knew this yarn was coming because I was waiting for it in my last video and it came. It did end up coming on Friday when I got home from work. I picked it up and I was super excited, and I don't know, like there's a lot of hype around Knitting for Olive. Maybe it's just because it's a little bit more affordable and it is like a nice yarn, but I don't know if it's like maybe overhyped. I'm like a person that joins the party late at all times, and people will like really hype something up, and then when I finally get it, I'm like, like it's great. It's just not like what I expected, because everybody made it sound like it was like the best thing since sliced bread, and I really like sliced bread. So those are my two most active whips. I will have a main whip that's actually not these two, because for my whip contest, they are gonna pick a new whip for the month of October. I'm really hoping it's gonna be my boyfriend's ribbed wrap, my boyfriend's mom's ribbed wrap that I'm knitting for her for Christmas, because I do really need to get that done anyway, and I need to focus all of my time on it. And I really wish that I had chosen all gift knits for this project or for this contest, because then it would motivate me to get a lot of gift knits done, which I am literally drowning in anxiety about finishing knits, gift knits for Christmas, because I'm knitting for everyone or crocheting for everyone, and it's October and I haven't finished anything yet, and I'm really stressed about it. Like, I'm gonna list off the things that I'm planning to make. I have 2 scarves, 1 blanket, which is halfway done, so, and it's like corner to corner crochet, so at least it's not granny squares or something. I have 1 sweater for my boyfriend, but as you see, like I think that'll take me like 4 days total, and a pair of socks, and a Coraline doll for my sister. So whew, that's a lot of stuff. But you know, we're gonna get through it. And I really should put down my sweater. That's for me. Like the Chantel V-neck is for me, and I should really put it down, but I was so excited about it, and I'm still so excited about it. It's like the only thing I actually want to knit, but we might have to take a break. I am thinking about knitting this again in the recommended yarn, and also not with a mohair, because I think the mohair kind of hides like the beauty of the pattern, and I think that also it's a little bit see-through because of me using a lace and a mohair, or not a lace and a mohair, a fingering and a mohair instead of just like a true DK. So yeah, we're probably gonna knit this again. And also I would love to have it in gray in the original picture. I'm gonna post a picture here if I haven't already. And yeah, I have to have this sweater in every color. So I would love to talk about some monthly goals. Sorry that the lighting is kind of changing in here. I hope it's like not too distracting and not too dark, but it's fall and at least the sun is not shining directly in my face anymore like it was in my past videos. So I mentioned that I'm going on vacation again at the end of this month. I want to use that time. I'm going on a beach vacation this time, so I have beach time plus travel time to work on some projects. So my goals are gonna be that ideally I will finish at least 2 Christmas knits, at least. Also, this is the sweater that is like for my boyfriend for Christmas, so this is also obviously included, and I feel like I said, I can get this done super fast. It's like just knit in the rounds. I would also love to finish one of the scarves, because scarves are just like such a pain in the butt to do. Like just the same 2-row repeat for 75 inches, like no thank you. But now that my big project is out of the way, big project meaning this, I can finally like rest easy, because this was in the back of my mind for so long, and I'm glad to finally have it out. I would also ideally love to finish one of my boyfriend's sister's socks, so that's her Christmas gift knit, and I'm actually knitting her the Silly Goose socks by Stone Knit. Oh, I'm so excited. She is 8 years old. She's 9 now. She's 9. So she's a little one, little baby, and she likes to wear Crocs, and I thought that these socks would just look so cute sticking out of her Crocs. I don't know. She might be like too cool for it, because she likes to wear just like high, they're not high rise. What are they called? Like high ankle, okay, like the long Nike socks, you know, with the Nike symbol, because that's what all the kiddos are wearing and the cool kids. And so she might be too cool for these socks. I don't know. Maybe she won't like them, but she might like the fact that they're like hand knit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. She's 9. I didn't really know what else to make her, but I thought she might like the Silly Goose socks. And if she doesn't, then I'll wear them. I'll just knit her something else and I'll keep them. Hey y'all, it's Editing Michaela, and I just wanted to say that I did cast on the You Silly Goose Socks by Stone Knits like immediately after filming that video for you guys, and I wanted to show you my progress. All of this work I'm about to show you was yesterday and today. So I actually did all of the geese yesterday, and I did the cuff today. So I would love to finish this sock today. Like a sock in 2 days, like that's insane. But also I kind of made a little bit of a modification, because I didn't do the 3rd row of geese like you're supposed to do, because it's for a little person. She's only 9, so I didn't think she needed that tall of a sock. And I'm also knitting this on tiny circulars, so I had to make like a couple other little modifications, but otherwise she's so cute. Okay, back to the podcast. But I think that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and give a thumbs up. I would love to know what it is that you're working on, what you're gift knitting or crocheting, because we do both on this channel. And I will see you guys next week for a yarn haul video, and I hope you guys have a good day.